Hello guys, ask it, you shall receive. You probably saw the name change, and it is true. We did get to the go-ahead to cast Zeveron versus To Be Determined. We know you guys are really pumped. So are we, and so are these players, as the draft has already started, so we're going to hop right over to it.
Yay! I was really hoping for this one. I really enjoyed casting Zeveron. Last time we did the June Open, and To Be Determined has shown us some great games. It's really exciting that we're going to see some more from them against a well-respected team like Zeveron. So far, the bans were Zeratul and Johanna, so Johanna being too popular for her own good, getting banned a lot today. we have Jaina, Tyrande, and Uther on the side of Zeveron, Sylvanas and Muradin on the side of To Be Determined. They are going to follow that up now with their ban, their second ban, which is going to be the Butcher.
I like you just catching us right up into the action. I really appreciate that. And I understand that Butcher ban as we see the Tyrande and the Uther, and we have to know that something is up Zeveron's sleeve with all of that stuns. I really like also that they have the Muradin already, so at least they won't have the stuns coming out from the tank as well, at least from that tank, as they could definitely still get the Anubarak. But Kael'thas is going to be banned from Zeveron, so Zeveron's going to really control these spellcasters between picking up Jaina and banning Kael'thas. They're trying to limit the amount of damage that To Be Determined can do.
I would not be surprised to see a Vala. I would not be surprised to see a Zeratul. And I guess... Oh, that's right. Just kidding. Just kidding. And I'm not super surprised, but would not have predicted the Anubarak pick here. It's going to be a double warrior composition from To Be Determined.
Well, I really like this. They're trying to limit the number of stuns that Zeveron can possibly be putting out on top of that Tyrande and Uther. And so now, I mean, what do Zeveron choose as their warrior?
Good question. So out of the mix already, we have Johanna, we have Anubarak, we have Muradin. So who does that leave that they might want? Gilly? Tyrael?
It could be a Tyrael. They've got the double support, so they can definitely hold up one of those warriors who's not quite as tanky as some of the other ones. Tyrael doesn't have a lot of stuns, but he's got great mobility. He can really get into the backline pretty easily. And then, of course, he does have that Judgment to really start the initiation. And from there, they could Judgment into the Lunar Flare. So that is a possibility. We may see a resurgence of somebody like an ETC. We do see him on occasion when the time calls for it. And this is actually a pretty good battleground to maybe try to grab a good mosh pit. But with so many stuns from To Be Determined, I don't know if they would go that route with him.
Also, as we were talking about that, To Be Determined did pick up Zagara, who's a great pick on this map for multiple reasons. She has built-in vision with her creep tumor, so she can really help with knowing where teams are on this very sneaky, cranny-filled map. And also, she's a great laner. And the thing is, on this map, if you can manage to keep your lanes pushed, it's always going to be an advantage to you because the web weavers spawn where you've pushed your lane, and also because if you control a lot of the lane, it makes it harder and harder for your opponents to turn in gems. As I was speaking, though, another Zerg lady was picked for Zeveron. Hooray!
Yeah, and something I want to note here, Zeveron have a great Kerrigan player. So To Be Determined got to be a little bit scared if Equinox is going to be the one playing that Kerrigan. On top of that, I mean, I was really hoping that this is where we were going because showing that early Uther really can lend to the Kerrigan. She's, of course, great on this battleground. It's probably her best. One of her best, definitely. And then they're going to have the potential for that Maelstrom into the Divine Shield. Kerrigan is also great in roaming with the Jaina. Oh my gosh, can this get any better? Zeveron have picked up the Arthas. They've done it, friends. Arthas is once again going to be joining us. We know Fury loves playing him, and we've seen some wicked Arthas play from him.
Oh my gosh, Gilly, I'm so excited.
This composition looks so good.
This is like the best thing that's happened to us all day.
We had to deal with the possibility of hog squirts, which always scares us. It's a name that's very fearful.
Nothing against the team. We love the team.
We do love the team.
It's just a rough name.
That name scares us. And now we've been rewarded. We've been rewarded with the Arthas Kerrigan. To Be Determined has decided that they want Rhaegar to try to heal through all of the damage that Zeveron will be dealing out, and they definitely will be dishing it out.
Looking at To Be Determined, Gilly, there's not a lot of burst damage there.
Yeah, they're really going to be hoping to control the fight with both of their warriors and then just consistently be able to throw out damage from Sylvanas and Zagara. Where they're going to shine is the vision. They've got tons of creep available from Zagara, as well as even the possibility from a Farsight from Rhaegar. They've also got great push potential, so if they can take an engagement favorably, then they can hurry and push down a lane with that Sylvanas. They'll take out some structures in no time.
Yeah, so this is kind of the traditional yin and yang composition that we've seen tried so many times, where one team is focused on controlling, positioning, and pushing lanes, and the other is focused on getting picks and team fighting. I mean, of course, both teams can do both, but there are emphases that are built into these compositions, and I would say generally, I see the one that is a little more bursty come out on top. That said, we know these are both teams that can really handle their compositions, so it's certainly not a done deal from this draft at all.
Yeah, I think what a lot of things it's going to come down to is, does To Be Determined know how to play versus an Arthas? Because the Arthas is kind of a pocket pick for Zeveron. Not very many teams play him, and they really like to play him. So they're really good with him. It's kind of something that they may not have encountered quite so much. So I'm hoping that for To Be Determined's sake, they have maybe played against at least a few.
Arthas is someone that was the most popular kid in school. He was the prom king. He was invited to every single party. And then all of a sudden he kind of like went off to college and everyone forgot about him for a little while. And so just as a recap, in case you're not too familiar with Arthas while we get this set up, his Q is Death Coil. It's going to deal 80 damage to a target enemy. His W is Howling Blast. It's going to root enemies for 1.5 seconds and deal 30 damage. His E is Frozen Tempest. That's going to deal damage per second to nearby enemies, and it also slows their move speed. And also then he has his heroic abilities, which are Army of the Dead, which summons ghouls for 15 seconds, which you can actually sacrifice to heal yourself, or Summon Syndragosa, which deals 150 plus 15 damage per level, and also slows enemies as well. And it also disables minions for 10 seconds and structures for 20 seconds.
Apparently nobody told Matt Damon that this is going to be a match that's casted. And now apparently we are going to hear from Matt Damon's agents. He's actually looking for his agent right now. We'll let you know how that continues to go as this story develops. Meanwhile, yeah, let's continue this Arthas conversation. So here's the idea, right? This is a battleground. We've already seen it once today, where there is a lot of potential to jump out for some surprise attacks, some ganks, where you can come through the turn-in point, come around, and then throw out, for instance, the Howling Blast from Arthas, root somebody, and then from there, Kerrigan will be ravaging in, jumping in on top of her opponents, pulling them back in with the Primal Grasp as they try to escape. Jaina can even be there to throw down abilities to slow them, or they've got Tyrande or Uther to throw additional stuns down. So no matter who they are with for this rotation, they'll be able to make something happen on top of it as long as they can initially grab somebody. And the reason why Arthas fits so well into this as well is because he does so much damage with his Frozen Tempest. So as long as he can catch up to those people, he's going to be dealing a ton of damage on top of the damage already that is insane from Jaina and Kerrigan.
He also has that trait, I didn't mention his combat trait, is Frostmourne Hungers, which you need to activate in order to make your next basic attack strike immediately, and then you do 100% more increased damage and also restore 30 mana. So he is a warrior and he is tanky, but he also, like Gilly was saying, can do an obscene amount of damage, and combined with the damage that's already going to be coming out of Zeveron, that's going to be real hard to deal with.
Yeah, it definitely will. It'll be up to be determined not to be caught out by these surprise attacks from the side, as well as to try to capitalize on different things. Like if they can maybe get some counter rotations and try to take out a tower with Sylvanas or something while the rest of Zeveron is maybe up in a different lane, then they can really start to at least pull ahead in experience. But it always going to come down to that early game, making sure they don't get caught out, making sure they don't give too much experience to Zeveron.
Oh, I'm so stoked I forgot what I was going to say next, because I was just looking at Kerrigan and remembering the good old days of Arthas Kerrigan together. So never mind. Just let me fangirl over here and not say anything important, because
those good days are back.
I know. Oh, I remember. Actually, I was going to mention that you've pointed out to me some pretty sick Tyrande play by Faye. So I wonder if that's who we're going to have on Faye. I wonder if that's who's going to be playing Tyrande for Zeveron this time.
Well, they kind of rotate some of these heroes around depending on who else they play, because Faye also plays a really great Jaina too. So Faye is really great at hitting her skill shots. So both of those very important in making sure that you do hit those. And we are loading in, guys. We will be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I'm going to refix this overlay as we are at the very first game in this best of 3 series. We get at least 2, hopefully 3 games in this series, Anna. I'm so pumped.
Yay! Tell all the people, tweet all of the things. This match is going to be bonkers, except, what? I'm not, Equinox says Timmy is lagging. And he says pee-pee, so I'm not sure.
I think it's pee-pees and pause.
Gotcha.
Please.
Not like he needs to use the potty.
No.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, at least this is at the very beginning of the game, so that gives me, we don't have to worry too much about. These teams are great, you guys. I'm gonna tweet about it in the interim.
Yes,
Gilly.
we need to tweet. We need to get all of everyone tweet right now. Go onto the Twitterverse. Make sure you let heroes know. It's at Blizz Heroes. Let them know how awesome these games have been, how awesome they're going to be. Make sure you tweet Zeveron. We know they have a Twitter as well, a tweeter. It is, I think, Zeveron GG. Check them out.
Yeah, it is. But what is, does To Be Determined have a Twitter, Gilly?
I don't know. We might have to look that up. It looks like they are ready. We do have Faye on the Tyrande, so I'm really pumped to see that. I'm going to hop over, and I'll introduce Zeveron as you do the tweeter things. We do have Mad Timmy on Uther Fury playing that Arthas. We also have Faye on Tyrande. Equinox playing the scary Kerrigan that we will see coming out from him. And then Cothlunluck will be playing Jaina.
Ooh, some very exciting familiar names. I'm almost done tweeting.
All right,
Everyone shall know.
Introduced To Be Determined as well in this case. We've got Sethi's on a new Barak. Playing Muradin will be Matt Damon, Muradin Damon. Urameshi will be on the Rhaegar. Twitch playing Zagara, and playing Sylvanas will be Dr. Shakalo. Shakalo.
All right, I tweeted, it is accomplished, and now we're in this game, and I couldn't be more stoked. This is a great place, as you mentioned, for someone like Kerrigan, because there are so many places to hide and so many places to jump out from, so many places you cannot see on this map.
That is so true. There's so many vents, of course. You can always come in through the side and corner, too. There's even a ton of corridors where Kerrigan can jump out at you. And when you see Kerrigan jumping at you, you really want to run, but not in a straight fashion, or she will go ahead and just pull you right back into her with the Primal Grasp, into her Impaling Blades, just like we're seeing there. So you're going to want to run in the zigzag motion, which is not always the first thing you're thinking of when you're like, run away right now!
That's how you're supposed to run from gunshots, by the way, in case you don't know.
Gunshots and Kerrigan.
Yeah, if you're running from gunshots or Kerrigan, be sure to run in a zigzag. And this guy did not remember, but he doesn't have to, because Matt Damon can just dwarf toss himself out. He doesn't have to run in a zigzag.
He was able to get away, no problem. And now we are seeing the slow start to this creep spread already from from Twitch, who did pick up that reconstitution. We may even see them pick up the endless creep as well. But oh no, they may be going down as Equinox is able to pull them in. Zagara went down, but so did Kerrigan, thanks to Dr. Shakalo staying strong, being there. And Matt Damon is even in here as well, going to throw out a Stormbolt. Throw a stun on top of Jaina, who is going to be able to get away. So trading 1 for 1 as the first blood.
Yeah, we saw that Impaling Blades from Kerrigan that did stun, but we didn't get a follow-up stun that I saw. We did get a slow from Jaina, but it wasn't quite enough to pull down both of those enemies, and Kerrigan lost her life in payment.
Yes, indeed. Both of the Zerg Queens went down, but we've got a very solid push already happening in this bottom lane. Muradin, though, will go down, and he will be the next victim to the Kerrigan train.
Choo-choo!
It has arrived.
Yeah, he was able to dwarf toss out of the way, but Kerrigan can jump right on as well with her Q, so she was able to follow his dwarf toss fairly easily and finish the job.
Oh, Sethi's is getting low, and this is not a place you want to be in, my friend. He's going to go all the way back, and I have to worry about the location of that, as no one is safe from Kerrigan. You can definitely Primal Grasp somebody out from that gate, so he's going to be able to get away from the blizzard. Oh, that's good, because that looked a little bit scary for him.
Well, very even so far, actually, on this battleground. We have Level 4 for both teams, just a slight lead on the side of Zeveron in terms of experience, but very, very slight at that. 2 takedowns for both, and about the same amount of gems having been collected by both teams, although 19 gems have been turned in for Team 2 Be Determined, and none so far yet for Zeveron.
To Be Determined called out immediately for Shakalo and Urameshi to get back, and this is what I was talking about. They knew the gank squad was up top, so they took out a tower on bottom. Unfortunately, Zagara was in the middle trying to spread her creep and did get taken out as well. So we're continually seeing Zeveron finding these ganks, though maybe not quite as easily as they would like. Once again, Equinox is coming down. Shakalo has got a Banshee out, is going to do so over the wall. A great escape there.
That can be so helpful on this map because there is so much terrain that you can use to protect yourself, and Dr. Shakalo is certainly aware of that.
Yes, definitely is, but unfortunately you're going to walk right into Equinox, who's going to pull Urameshi into another stun from Lunar Flare, even a Hammer of Justice, but not quite enough damage from Just Faye and Equinox here. Jaina was not here at the time, so they were able to keep Urameshi alive. So far, not losing too much here, although it might be the end of Sylvanas, it will do so, and now Zeveron are almost level 7.
Those double stuns are so strong, Gilly. When you can't move, there's not much you can do to escape.
Indeed, looking at some of the talents we have so far, we do have To Be Determined trying to outlast some of this. We've got the Beetle build from Anubarak to try to help with some of his sustainability, as well as double heals so far from Rhaegar too. So they are truly trying to make that happen, but another pull is going to go. A great Dwarf Toss from Matt Damon is going to make sure he survives that. And To Be Determined just need to try to catch up a little bit in experience, but they're also going to have to deal with the Web Weavers that are pushing for Zeveron.
We've seen both teams maintain a presence in every single lane, knowing how important it is to stake their claim on the real estate there. And we do have the lanes pushed right about to the middle of the map, and that's where we'll see the Web Weavers now spawning for Zeveron.
Look thought he was going to chase after Matt Damon and then thought twice of it. An owl goes out, though, and does not take him out, so Matt Damon will survive. Meanwhile, Fury is working seriously on this top lane with these Web Weavers. He's nearly taken down the second tower. In the middle, we have another push going down, as it looks like Zeveron is feeling comfortable enough to try to maybe push in toward this fort just slightly. Oh, now they are going to disengage. The bottom Web Weaver's been taken out. To Be Determined is going to rotate through and try to take out the rest as well.
Arthas actually almost managing to take out Anubarak up here. Stace does have to back off. He's going to go back for health all the way to base. Fury did start to wail a little bit on that fort, but Matt Damon is going to come shake his new man ponytail that I saw on TMZ, and he is going to come and defend against Fury.
Calvin doing a really good job of trying to get rid of some of this creep. Dr. Shakalo may get taken out and will do so from an owl from Faye. So good, hitting all of these stuns so far. I wanted to mention that with that creep, we do have Zagara picking up the Endless Creep talent, so it is going to be a bit easier for them to try to spread that creep out, and also will make those tumors a little bit harder for the members of Zeveron to find. But they really need to catch up in experience as well, and without doing so, it means it's going to be a little bit harder for them to try to spread out and get out on the map and start spreading that creep around those turn-in points.
Yeah, again, the creep that Zagara is spreading is giving her team a vision advantage, but it's also going to give her some buffs if she can manage to put it in places where she's going to be fighting. Mad Timmy is too tanky of a support to be taken down and will be able to defend against Urameshi and Twitch as she's down there looking for more places to spread creep, not having dropped any tumors in the last couple seconds, though.
Well, we have the heroic abilities for Zeveron. They picked up the Maelstrom and the Divine Shield, like we mentioned before, along with the Summon Syndragosa, the Starfall, and Water Elemental, so much damage. The Syndragosa, if you're unfamiliar with that, is going to deal damage and slow enemy heroes, but it also freezes minions for 10 seconds and structures for 20, so it's a really great way to kind of engage in. It's almost like a curse from Curse Hollow. And with that, they're feeling so comfortable. They had a whole level advantage. They had their heroic abilities advantage. They're going to grab the boss, but it does open up Web Weavers to spawn for To Be Determined.
Yes, and those Web Weavers will spawn far back here in the top lane, but in the middle lane, they're going to be right up against the wall, and in the bottom lane, about the same place. So I think that Zeveron's going to have to pay close attention to what they're giving up as they do push alongside the boss in this top lane.
Oh, the pull into the Lunar Flare and Starfall ensure that Anubarak and Zagara both went down. The bugs have been eliminated, and now Syndragosa comes in. It slowed Matt Damon, who is safe, but this fort is not attacking at all. It will be a keep for Zeveron already at the 7-minute point.
Wow. We talk a lot about how Sylvanas is so useful for these kinds of pushes, but Cindergrosa, like you mentioned, is kind of that mini curse just like Sylvanas and can be used in the same way to aid a boss like that pushing to keep them protected from structures that would normally take them down more quickly.
Zeveron may not even lose a fort here. If they do, it'll probably be the bottom one. But a fort for a keep, totally viable trade. Totally fine for Zeveron here, who are quickly approaching their 13 talents.
Yes, and once they do get there, they will be well equipped to continue to engage whenever they feel so led. But we do have heroic abilities for to be determined as well. Have we mentioned those yet, Gilly, or shall I go over them real quick?
We haven't mentioned them quite yet, but just a second, because Fury is going to maybe go down. A great heal comes in from Faye, just saves the day. Wailing Arrow is going to drop on him. It will not be enough. He's a warrior. He can't be taken down by one little silence. Oh, a great ancestral healing, though, keeps Sethi's alive, and now Kerrigan is pulling them back in, but it looks like both teams are probably going to disengage here, neither losing a single hero.
Yeah, the Divine Shield went down on Kerrigan, helped her get out of a sticky situation where she was surrounded by the rest of the team, and that shows some good awareness from the healer there from Mad Timmy.
Yeah, both healers doing serious work. And you mentioned the to be determined. We saw that amazing ancestral heal from Rhaegar. They also picked up Web Blast, the Wailing Arrow, Devouring Maw, and Avatar from Myrddin.
Yeah, we do see those level 13 talents, though, coming out from Zeveron, so they are going to continue to be just fine with engaging as they're a full talent tier ahead.
And speaking of engaging, it looks like Equinox is going to pull from behind the wall into a blizzard. They didn't quite catch him yet. Equinox using the sprint to actually catch up very aggressively. Now going to pull Matt Damon in as well, who will be able to dwarf toss away. But here comes Syndragosa!
That will keep that fort from firing upon them, and they will make great use of it. They will take that fort down, although Dr. Shokolo, Matt Damon, and Urameshi are trying to join forces with Twitch in order to stop it. The Maelstrom will go down. We don't have a Divine Shield on it yet, but doesn't seem like she's really going to need it. She's going to use it mostly to take down these structures before retreating.
Yeah, we saw them use that Maelstrom to take down structures before as well, so she dropped it. It kind of also dissuades the members of To Be Determined from trying to engage once again, so she can kind of keep her teammates safe while they're disengaging there by dropping that down, saying, yeah, you can fight, but you're going to walk right into my Maelstrom, which is scary.
This is a long string of destruction from Zeveron. They haven't stopped taking things down in quite a while. And To Be Determined is trying to figure out a way to stop them from doing that. Sates is going to go burrow charge in to engage and is going to throw down the web wrap. Starfall also goes down. Matt Damon is pushed out of the way, tries to get an ancestral heal, but will fall down before it's able to bring him back to life. Dr. Shokolo, very low, is going to have to retreat. Going to get some heals from Rhaegar. Looks like we have Saith trying to catch up with the rest of his team, but he's a slow beetle. He will get stunned, and he will go down as well. Dr. Shokolo does get the ancestral heal, but retreats before being able to use it much. Only Sylvanas and Zagara will survive for To Be Determined.
And a lot of gems being dropped there. There's only 11 now on the persons of To Be Determined. Syndragosa is going to go through. Equinox immediately starting to take out these towers. They really want to open up another avenue to a second keep as well, because that means that at any point they can then push in toward that with some web weavers, or even if they win another favorable engagement for them. Looks like they will stay around just to make sure that they take out that tower, yes, before going ahead and backing away. There's plenty of objectives on this map. They've got 40 gems, so they've nearly got a turn in. They've also got some giants they can pick up, so they're happy just to turn around, wait until they get 16, and then look for another engagement.
Dr. Shokolo and Urameshi moving forward to try to at least absorb some experience in that lane. They are seeing that level 16 is about to come out for Zeveron, and they have yet to hit their 13, so that's going to be really important if they want to continue to be competitive when they engage with their opponents.
Yeah, and there those 16 talents do drop. It does look like we do have the Numbing Blast, so more stuns, or at least roots there coming for Zeveron, who will have that in addition to the Howling Blast from Fury, who has been on point with those, I might add.
I think we've seen a lot of on-point play so far. Syndragosa just being used so well, like you said, as kind of a mini curse whenever the team comes up against some structures. Would not be surprised to see it again here very soon, as we do see Zeveron approaching this keep on the lower side of the map along with some siege giants. There does go the Syndragosa. They're not going to be worried about that keep attacking them, and they're going to go right to damaging it.
What I really like is that we've seen Zeveron just totally not even be concerned with the creep, the vision, saying like, yeah, you can see us coming for your keep, we're going to go for it anyway. And they are doing so much damage here as Rhaegar will go down. He did get the Ancestral heal off, unfortunately. Already Anub'arak has his second hit bar melted down as well. Kerrigan getting a little bit far forward, taking some damage from that keep, going to disengage, going to instead help make sure that the rest of her team can continue cleaning up the structures. Now they're going for the core. They've got 15 seconds until all the members of To Be Determined are up. I think that we may see them being able to win it right here.
That was such a cool run by Equinox on Kerrigan, who did get the Divine Shield on the Maelstrom, used that to damage lots of opponents. It's only 3 seconds, but he made it look so much longer because he used Ravage to move it from one group of his enemies to another within that 3 seconds and did so much damage with it, then moving forward and just taking them out one by one. So I know I'm a little bit biased, but I love that Kerrigan play, especially combined with that Arthas play and the Syndragosa that they used to take down structures so quickly along with the Maelstrom. Just a really, really cool composition used by Zeveron there.
So what do you think that To Be Determined is going to do in this situation? Do you think that we're going to see some specific bans versus them? Do you think that it will come down to trying to get a different battleground? The whole idea was they were able to pick up so many early game takedowns because they had such a strong, amazing, great rotating composition like they had.
I certainly think they're going to be aware of how much stun Zeveron is allowed to get, because that was the name of the game. I mean, just being able to pull somebody in and keep them stationary until you melted them down was the plan for Zeveron. Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised to see a respect ban on Kerrigan, because she was so instrumental in that composition. But even if you take Kerrigan out of the mix, I still think that composition was very strong. Everyone can do something to stun you or slow you. So I think that To Be Determined is probably going to be really conscious of that and maybe almost try to take all of the heroes that they saw Zeveron using in order to deny them. What do you think?
Yeah, I think at least trying to get rid of like the Uther Tyrande combination as well. Like just trying to kind of dismantle that a little bit. But then they kind of have to worry about the other side, is that there are warriors with lots of stuns too. They had them. They just really couldn't make anything happen with them, and that was another huge problem. So we'll have to see what they can choose to do here. We are going to take a quick break while we hop into the game number 2, and then when we return, we'll see if To Be Determined can bring it back.